Hello and welcome. My name is Tato, and today we're going to be taking a look at Proc Cat, one of the best 1 to 60 prestige builds on Ascension. With this build, you'll be able to reduce your time to prestige to under an hour, and with the correct heirlooms and a pot, even faster. With all talents and abilities besides one being found in the open world, or bought with Dark Moon tickets from Silas, Proc Cat is perfect for new or returning players. Why only level to 60 each prestige? Well, that's pretty simple. Prestiging in Ascension awards you with tokens of prestige, ability and talent rerolls, marks of Ascension, and standard ability and talent card packs. All rewards for prestiging are given to us by level 60 rather than level 70, allowing us to complete multiple prestiges much faster. This helps us to gain a massive amount of marks, tokens of prestige, and card packs to further grow our collection. As a new player, this is vital in our pursuit of new builds and spicy abilities that are unique only to Ascension. So without further ado, I present to you Proc Cat. So here we are on our freshly prestiged characters. I've picked my starters, I've carded my abilities, and I've carded my talents, and we're going to go over them really quickly. For our starters, we've chosen Cat Form, Swipe Cat, Dominate Undead, and Feral Charge. Cat Form's obvious, we're going Proc Cat. Swipe. Swipe is an AoE ability which is going to allow us to proc all of our on-hit talents that we're going to take much easier. It also inflicts weapon damage, so depending on what weapon you have, it will increase or decrease this value, but it is a pretty massive ability. Dominate Undead. We've chosen Dominate Undead here for a couple of reasons, and I'll go over those a little bit more once I cover talents, because the undead that we've chosen is the standard mindless zombie pet, and it synergizes well with one of our talents. We've taken Feral Charge for just a little bit more movement throughout the Manastorms, and it's going to make our clear much faster. Okay, so now that we've got starters covered, let's go ahead and take a look at the abilities that we've carded. First off, we'll start with Fel-Infused Weapon, Frenzied Swipe, Venomous Fury, Puncture, Goldrin's Fury, and Tiger's Fury. Now let's go over a quick rundown and I'll explain some of these abilities here. So Fel-Infused Weapon is a weapon augment. This can be put on both of our weapons because we are in fact going to be using two one-handers. The reason being is because our main stat here is going to be agility, and if you hold shift while hovering agility, it shows the bonuses that you get for wielding certain weapons. So if you pay attention to agile strikes, when wielding a one-handed weapon, your damaging melee and ranged abilities, global cooldown, and cost is reduced by 8%, allowing us to use swipe more often and increase our energy efficiency. Fel-Infused Weapon will be able to augment both of your one-handed weapons with Shadow Flame, allowing them to do massive damage. Now, Fel-Infused Weapon happens to be the only card that you cannot get either in the open world or through Silas. However, if you don't have Fel-Infused Weapon, another option that I personally have taken in the past is Flame Tongue. Flame Tongue Weapon is also another weapon augment that will allow your weapons to do on-hit fire damage as well as increase your spell power. Increased spell power could be pretty massive with our on-hit proc talents, which is the main portion of our build. So if Fel-Infused Weapon is not available to you, Flame Tongue Weapon is another option. Moving on to Frenzied Swipe. Frenzied Swipe is another form of swipe. It has an 18-second cooldown, and this, when procced, will allow your pet to do AoE cleave damage to up to 5 nearby enemies. That is huge, and helps us with one of our talents that we have carded here, and I'll go over that more in a little bit. Our next ability here is Venomous Fury. Venomous Fury is here just as a combo point dumper. This is a finishing move. This will allow us to do more single target damage. Also deals nature damage, so any spell power increasers will be fantastic. Moving on to Puncture here. Puncture is our combo point generator. This deals nature damage as well, so any spell power increasers is more than welcome. This will allow us to gain combo points to dump into Venomous Fury, and is used more as a single target damage for bosses once acquired. And on to the next two abilities, we have Goldrin's Fury and Tiger's Fury. Goldrin's Fury is just another augmented version of Tiger's Fury. However, Goldrin's Fury increases your shadow damage done by 10% and all damage by 5%. And dealing damage with cat abilities applies Arubal's Gift, which is a debuff that stacks 3 times, dealing 32 shadow damage over 6 seconds. This periodic damage can also critically strike, and will benefit from our spell power. This value will increase with your level, so it is huge. And Tiger's Fury just adds a flat amount of damage to our attacks, and increases all damage by 5% for 8 seconds. One thing to note about these two cooldowns here is that they do not stack. So, the optimal use of these abilities are using one, waiting for the duration to fall off, and then using the other. Alright, let's move on to some talents now. So, our talents are as follows: Mental Quickness, Seething Flames, Necromancer's Touch, Feral Instinct, Stormbringer, Deathbringer, Unbounded Deathbringer, and King of the Jungle. We take Mental Quickness here for an increase in our spell power. Our primary stat is Agility, so this is always useful. Most especially for the Capstone bonus. Our direct melee abilities will increase our magic damage done by 10% for 6 seconds, which is huge because we will be only using Swipe and Puncture here and there, allowing this Capstone bonus to be active at all times. All of our proc damage from Seething Flames, Stormbringer, Deathbringer, and Unbounded Deathbringer are all magic damage, so therefore Mental Quickness is vital. Seething Flames is an on-hit proc effect, which will allow our direct damage abilities to proc and ignite on the target, dealing 11 fire damage to nearby enemies 3 times over 2 seconds. This can proc on multiple targets, allowing Seething Flames to cleave multiple targets, and this damage value will increase as you level. Stormbringer. Stormbringer is also another on-hit proc effect. This will electrify the ground. It is a small circle that it puts on the ground that deals nature damage over time as well as on-hit nature damage. So again, very huge. Alright, moving on to our next 3 talents here. They kind of all synergize together very well. Starting with Necromancer's Touch. Your dominated undead or enslaved demon pet's ability damage now afflicts the target with the Necromancer's Touch. This will increase the damage dealt to the target with your next Drain Life, Blood Arrow, Shadow Dagger, and Deathbringer. Okay? Since we have 2 versions of Deathbringer, we have the single target version and the AoE version. Necromancer's Touch will stack up to 10 times, increasing the damage of our Deathbringer by 50%. With Necromancer's Touch, this will allow us to deal more damage as the stacks increase with these 2 talents. Now, as I was saying before, we have taken Dominate Undead. Our pet that we've chosen is the standard Mindless Zombie. Why, might you ask? Because the standard Mindless Zombie has an ability called Disease Cloud. A cloud of disease surrounds the bearer, causing 4 to 6 nature damage to enemies within 5 yards every 3 seconds. This is an uncapped AoE ability, meaning that it will hit every target in the vicinity. This is vital for our Necromancer's Touch. Necromancer's Touch will then stack AoE to every enemy that is around us, allowing us to do more damage with our Unbounded Deathbringer and our standard single target Deathbringer as well, therefore making the Mindless Zombie the best option, especially for newer players as well. Moving on to our last 2 talents here, we have Feral Instinct and King of the Jungle. These 2 are up to your discretion. I choose these because they are the most accessible talents, especially for newer players. I felt that these have a pretty decent impact on damage as well. Feral Instinct will increase our swipe damage by 30%, and all damage we deal by 3% while Tiger's Fury is active. This is huge because we're mostly using swipe. We do use our puncture for single target damage later, however, swipe is the most efficient way to clear massive packs of mobs. This is also huge for the 3% damage increase to Tiger's Fury. And then the capstone bonus here says, dealing damage with swipe and ravage reduce the cooldown of Tiger's Fury and enrage by 1 second. This means if we have 5 mobs around us in the Manastorm and I press swipe, we will hit 5 targets, therefore dealing damage 5 times, meaning this will reduce the cooldown of Tiger's Fury by 5 seconds. If there are more mobs around us, which is often the case because we mostly pulled the entire dungeon, it will reduce the cooldown of Tiger's Fury by a lot more, allowing us to permanently have Tiger's Fury active throughout the dungeon. Tiger's Fury only being on a 30-second cooldown allows us to reset this very, very often. During a boss fight, I like to use Goldrun's Fury for the increased shadow damage and the dot, but while I'm clearing the Manastorm, I have a permanent Tiger's Fury activated with Feral Instinct. King of the Jungle, while on cat form, casting Tiger's Fury restores 60 energy over 10 seconds, which is huge, allowing us to not have to worry so much about our energy consumption during the Manastorm. And additionally, we will deal 6% increased damage while above 75% health. Now, if you would like to switch out either of these talents, you're more than welcome to. 2 other options that I go for here and there are Harbinger of Flame. I have not added Harbinger of Flame to this build list because almost all talents besides Unbounded Deathbringer are found in the open world. Harbinger of Flame is not one of those. You cannot find this in the open world. However, if you do not have Unbounded Deathbringer and you have Harbinger of Flame, feel free to use this. If you do not have Unbounded Deathbringer or Harbinger of Flame, I would suggest running Feral Instincts in King of the Jungle, as well as Ferocity. Ferocity, 5 out of 5, increases all attributes by 5% and will reduce the energy cost of our swipe by 10 energy. This is huge, allowing us to use swipe continuously. So, again, up to your discretion, but these are the talents that I've chosen. If you would like to switch any of these out, you're more than welcome to. Alright, let's move on to some Mystic Enchants. My Mystic Enchants are pretty standard. Just 3 out of 3s across the board. Starting off with Lunar Guidance. This one is totally up to you. This will increase your spell damage by 3% of your total intellect. I have a few pieces of spell power heirloom gear, giving me a minor amount of intellect. However, any increase to spell damage is good. This can be switched out, for example, if you're taking Flame Tongue Weapon over Fel Infused Weapon for elemental weapons. This will increase the spell damage and healing power gains from your Flame Tongue, Frost Brand, and Earth Living Weapon enhancements by 20%. This will help a lot with our spell power, if we're taking Flame Tongue. So this is totally up to you. Moving on to Feral Instinct. This will increase the damage done by our swipe by 8%, stacking 3 times, so in total 24% increased damage. Vitality will increase our energy regeneration by 6%, stacking 3 times. Ferocity will reduce the cost of our swipe ability by 1 energy, stacking 3 times. Our last 3 out of 3 Mystic Enchant that we take is Necrotic Swipe. This, again, is 100% up to you, but these Worldforged Mystic Enchants are easier to farm than you might think. All you have to do in order to get the Necrotic Worldforged Mystic Enchants is farm a lot of undead. If you find a large pack of undead mobs out in the open world, they will begin to drop Necrotic Worldforged Mystic Enchant scrolls. Using these will give you the necrotic version of these specific abilities. Do this at your own discretion, but this is massive. By killing an enemy, we will get a buff called Necrotic Power. This will increase our damage done by 2%. With this 3 out of 3 stack, our total damage will increase by 6%, and this is all damage. We are killing mobs all the time in the Manastorm, so this buff is almost a permanent 6% damage increaser. Moving on to our last 2, we have Feel the Burn. This will reduce the cost of our physical abilities by 4%, and we don't care about the other portion of this. This is up to you. I just like to reduce costs as much as I can, so that I can more efficiently use my abilities during the Manastorm. And then lastly, Vigor. This will increase our maximum energy pool by 20. This enchantment does not stack, but that is okay, because we have 120 energy, allowing us to use abilities way more often. Alright, so that is the rundown of the talents and abilities. You can find most of these talents and abilities out in the open world. In the few that you cannot, you can substitute for other things that you may have. But these are the optimal choices that I have chosen for this build. Alright, we're going to start our Prestige now. I'm going to speed the video up and slow the video down when we have a couple of key points to make. But other than that, I will see you guys at level 60. Alright, so we have reached level 10 here. We've gotten our first ability, Fel Infused Weapon, and now we have the ability to jump into the Manastorm. Okay, so the potions that I suggest here are the Long Haul Liquid, Rage Rush Solution, Incantation Intensifier. This is just all damage stuff. And then your Sprint Serum. Sprint Serum is going to be huge. Try to level that up as soon as you possibly can. Okay, and then what I suggest to run is just do 1 to 51 over and over and over again until you reach max level. So we're going to do that. I will slow down the video here and there once we reach some milestones to showcase some portions of the build, but then we're going to speed the rest of the video up and see how fast we can get this Prestige done. Alright, let's do this. Here we are at level 29. If we take a look at our skill cards, our build is now fully online. Doesn't take very long. Most of our talents are level 10 and a couple are 24. Our abilities, and then all of our talents are level 10 and then one level 20. And I am just going to go through this Manastorm here and show you at regular speed and kind of like showcase what's going on here. So, running around here. We one-shot just about every single mob now, and this will carry all the way up into our 50s. Our on-hit proc talents are going to do most of the damage for us. Pop our cooldown here. Drop our proc, whatever other abilities that we got going on, but we just sit there and swipe. And then boom, the fight's done. Moving on to the next Manastorm. Go in, move, quick as we can. If your pet dies, make sure to revive that. Go in. If you get into a Manastorm where there's quite a few mobs, feel free to clear them, because as you can see there, it gives quite a bit of experience in doing so. And yeah, that's pretty much what we got going on. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and speed it back up. Alright, here we are, level 59, with probably one or two more Manastorms to go. As you can see, the build still performs really well, even at the higher levels. We're at 43 minutes so far on our time to prestige, and as you have noticed, I'm sure, I'm running around killing a bunch of packs and stuff too, because we basically one-shot mobs, I mean, pretty much even up into the higher levels and stuff. So, I mean, it's free experience, not much more effort wasted. And then as far as like single target damage goes, once we hit up in the 50s, it does take a little bit longer to kill bosses, but it's not impossible, and it's just fine. This will be our last Manastorm here. Make sure we get our pet on. I suggest keeping your pet on passive, and then Control 1 will force your pet to attack what target you're targeting. So so that'll help you quite a bit. You can just sick them on the boss, they won't get caught up in mobs and stuff, and you'll get your bonus damage from Necromancer's Touch. But there we are, we're level 60. Time to Prestige is 44 minutes and 58 seconds. Let's go ahead and leave here. And all I'm gonna say, man, is to hell with Orgrimmar. We go to the land of the free, baby! We get out of here. We move on. Orgrimmar's for noobs. We go to Silver Moon City. Easy. The best place in Azeroth, man. It's the place to be. But anyway, as far as it goes with the build, it is really consistent damage all the way up to level 60. From 60 to 70, it's not bad either. It'll take a little bit longer. I still have time on my pot. I still have 15 minutes on my pot. So even if it took 15 minutes for 10 levels, I mean, it'd be totally fine. Okay? You'd make it to 60 in one pot, or 70 in one pot. So if that's your goal, the reason I only go up to 60 when I am spamming Prestiges is because you get the marks of Ascension for completing your Prestige, and all of your rerolls for completing your Prestige at 60. So, and the card rewards and all that. So, if I am spamming Prestiges for Marks of Ascension and 4 card packs as a newer player, I only have to go to 60, reset again, spend another 45 minutes, get back up to 60, and do it all over again. Do that 10 times, you get tons and tons of marks, you get tons and tons of card packs, and you get tons of tokens of prestige. That'll help you buy your looms, all that. But all things considered, pretty good build, you know? But yeah, that's Proc Cat. And I guess I can be like every other YouTuber. If you liked the video, like and subscribe, baby. We'll have more content coming out soon. I appreciate you guys. Also, as an FYI, I stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/Brotato. I'm sure you've seen me there. And if not, then I hope to see you there. I will catch you guys next time. Hope you enjoyed the build, and enjoy yourselves. Peace.